All right, here we are once again, Taffers. This is starting to become a habit, I guess. Get me a drink of water here. Out of my Mickey Mouse Tervis water bottle. Okay, this is well, as with Bafford's Bone Collection. Well, let me get the thing loaded here. All the difficulties are the same. Okay, as with Bafford's Bone Collection, it got released before Fletcher's Final Mistake because Fletcher was in beta testing, and I released Bafford real quick because I wanted to keep working with the editor. So that got released for a contest. So how do we say this? My second mission got released. I don't know. They keep getting released backwards. Well, I have a mission in testing, and then I do another one, and I rush that one out the door. So that's what happened with this, A Servant's Revenge. It was, I think this was been December of 2005, I think it was. And my other mission, Unfinished Business, which is a sequel to Fletcher's Final Mistake. While Unfinished Business was in testing, again, I made a small mission to sort of like a holiday present to give to the community. I knew Yandros Russ was working on what's become the classic Thieves Holiday. I think that's what it's called, or Thieves Christmas or Thieves Holiday. You know, when you go around and, put out Christmas cookies and, light the tree and everything. And so he did that mission, and I think I released this a couple of days before he released that. And so this was sort of like a holiday present, something, a Christmas present for the community. So I put this thing together really quickly in about 40 or 50 hours worth of work. And so this is my third release mission, but technically my fourth mission, but it got released before my third. So it's just, it was a trend that I had going there for a while. So in this mission, you don't play as Garrett, you play as Gilbert. You're an indentured servant, and basically you want to get out of the life, so you go rob the manor and and get the heck out of Dodge and go meet your brother. You'll need money to start your new life. Lord Rothberg has plenty lying around. Go get it. You'll need the key to the main gate. Find the key to the main gate. Let's see. Money, main gate key. Looks like you're done. Get out. So there we go. We'll load it up. Now, this scene right here, as I think I was the first one to release a mission. You'll notice a lot of custom textures here. I think just about every custom texture in this mission was done by Vigil. He released a texture pack that was fabulous. Some of the best Thief textures ever, and you've seen them a million times since, but I'm pretty sure this was the first mission released that used them. Other people were obviously working on missions, while I was working on this one, but since this one was so small and quick to get out the door, I think I had the distinction of displaying this most fabulous texture pack to the Thief community in a mission. I could be wrong about that, but I think I was the first one to do this. So, not really blowing my own horn. It's weird trivia that, goes in a Let's Play video. So right down here is a letter on your floor. This is Gilbert. This is like your little cottage that you live in. And so he goes, it's all set, dear brother. I booked passage for both of us on the Abysmal Gale. Of course, the reference to the Thief2 ship and the mission, the ghost ship mission. It sets sail tonight. Grab what you can and meet me at the dock. It's time your master has found you're gone missing. We'll be on our way. I know it's cold, but we can't wait. So grab what you can and run like the wind. I'll be waiting, and we can be together again. Love, Stephen. And Stephen's his brother. So Stephen has escaped from his own master, and so I guess two brothers are trying to get the heck out of Dodge and start a new life. So what a charming story. So we got to be careful though, because we're not allowed to be step outside of our cottage at night. So the guards will be immediately hostile. Everybody will be immediately hostile to you, which it's just the story, because of course guards are always hostile to the player, no matter what you name the player. So.
Hello?
And as of right now, you don't have any weapons or anything like that.
Nothing there.
Because you're not a thief. You're Weird. Gilbert, an indentured servant. So go run off here and hide in the dark. I don't think anybody patrols along here. You'll notice I've got weather, snow. I basically completed my third mission, so this is really my fourth mission. So I learned a lot while putting together Unfinished Business, and we'll get to that one that'll be the next Let's Play we do. So I really learned a lot doing that. I didn't put any weather in that mission, but I just Unfinished Business was probably my first. That was like my first proper attempt at actually making a mission that wasn't just, some rooms and some loot to steal. There was a little bit more to it, because I was getting a lot more comfortable, working with the editor and, learning new and different tricks and everything. And but I remember this mission started as, you see, I was just trying to learn how to implement weather. So I just built a big room. This mission is basically a big cube with, houses in it. And so I just basically built a big cube and didn't put anything in it. I just wanted to see if I could get rain falling or snow falling. And it's all convoluted about how there's a whole thing that you have to go through to get weather to work. And it's just, again, I'm not the most computer literate person in the world. So it was just like, herding cats trying to get this figured out. But Slugs had posted something, and whatever he said, I forget. It just the light went off in my light went off my head. I went, oh, wait a minute, and so I came in and I started fussing around with the editor, and after I think half an hour or something, I got it to snow, and so I'm not. That's basically it. I think the numbers that you have to punch in. There's in Andromeda. There's tons and tons of boxes, and it's a lot of just filling in numbers that are meaningless to me, but they mean something to the editor, and in field after field after field after field. And I think I stole the snowflakes from Yandros. I think those were his numbers, so it made the snow look like it looks, because you can make it thicker, or you can make the flakes bigger or smaller, that kind of stuff. So anyway, so there aren't any really thiefy tools to find in this mission, since you're not a thief, but there are a few things that you can a few thiefy things you can do. And so there is something in this barn right here that you need to get to make things a lot easier if you don't feel like ghosting it, which I'm not. That's another thing. I made this mission to be ghostable fairly easily. I just think most people don't ghost. I ghost sometimes, not all the time, but it can be immensely satisfying to do. And so I'll nick some stuff off that guard there. And so I wanted to make a mission that was fairly easy to ghost for people who normally don't play that way. But, I think I said somewhere in the README, it's small, it's not that big, it's not that hard to ghost. Give it a try if you've never ghosted before, because it's not going to be like some 5-6 hour thing, or, a reload fest, 50 million reloads to get through the thing. You should be able to pretty much Iron Man and ghost this mission, all at the same time. And just as I say that, I'll quick save here. I'm not going to try to ghost it, because I don't want these Let's Plays to become, let's watch Sly, play Thief for 5 hours, So, but if you've never ghosted a mission, this is a good one to try and do. And, okay, yes, I need to go back over here to the barn, because there's something in the barn that'll come in handy for dispatching the guards.
Hello? Anyone there?
And I better wait here for just a moment. Is that guy? That guy won't see me. So yeah, here we go. Barn key. See, I was getting better too. See, you see the key? It has a name. Barn key. I'm starting to figure out how to do stuff like that. Do stuff that real mission authors do. Now, right over here, you could play this whole mission and miss this, and this again too. The guard thwacker. So it's basically just like a broom handle. I forget who made this custom object, but so by this time, I was learning how to implement custom stuff into the game system. So if you don't if you don't know much about the technical details of a Thief mission, the game system is basically just this hierarchy of just everything that's in the game. Sounds, meta properties is like computer stuff, and sounds, objects, the AI, everything in the game is part of the game system. So if you want to put something that didn't ship with the original game into your mission, you've got to find the resource files and put the right resource into the right file, and then go into the game system, into this expandable hierarchy tree. It's just like this huge, tree, and it's just got, subheading after subheading after subheading after subheading. You got to make sure all the stuff is all typed in there perfectly neatly and everything, because if you get one thing wrong, you know how computers are, just, the computer will choke and won't know what you're doing. So obviously this was, I'm sure second nature, easy to some people, but for me it really wasn't. But as I say, I was learning at this point. So this is me, custom textures, a custom object. I'm actually naming objects that you pick up. I can give them their own name, like I wanted to in the first mission, or nobody could tell who Fletcher was because he wasn't named.
What that
But
noise was.
and that confused some people because but. So anyway, I'm just going to run around here and just whack people. So there we go. So you can use that as a blackjack. And we just go stash this guy back over here. And what's the... Oh yeah, that's just the thing you picked up there. Okay, and I'll just wait here. I'll just hit this guy. Yeah, you know what's going on. Yeah, never a clue. Yeah, no person. Yeah. And we'll shut the door just to be... And there we go. And I think there might be one or two other guys wandering around out here, but there aren't too many. I don't even know what's in here. Okay, a well house. So, just something to add a little realism. There's nothing down there, but, definitely a nice, modest estate like this would have a well. I think this is like the larder or whatever. Yeah, So, people steal the beef. Hey, I'm running away from home. I might as well take some deer legs with me. And that's the main gate I need to get out of. That's the key for that gate is one of the objectives I need to find. So, and then here's a covered wagon and okay, nothing in that chest. Okay, now you can go in the front door of the house, but there's guards patrolling down there. There's a few other people wandering around down there, so that's really not the way you want to do it. And I think there's a side door. Yeah, there's a side door over here. I'll just run over here to look, and there's a guard guarding it, and you can actually, if he's timed to look away just enough, you can do it right. You can scamper up that barrel and onto the roof, but you got to get it timed just right, or he'll spot you, and then all hell breaks loose. But there's a slightly stealthier way. This is one of the world's dumbest chimneys. Right there, down there, the kitchen is below there, so the chimney's here. There's a grate there to keep you from, obviously to keep big things from falling down the chimney. But if you take this barrel here, and I forget exactly how, but there's something you do to barrels to make them easier to push, and I think I did it to this one, because sometimes it can be tough to push these things. And so if you just take it, and I've actually found if you... Yeah, okay, I'll just keep pushing it. But if you push this barrel over here, you can then climb on top of this convoluted thing that covers the chimney. There we go. And we'll save again just in case I miss this jump, but then you can do the jump, grab mantle, and haha, now look how fancy we are. Now we're up here on the second floor. And we'll just go down here just to look around and see a little bit. I actually think you can get up on the roof somehow. I remember somehow wanting to attach a property to these iron fences, the 10-foot iron fence. Everybody who drama heads knows the 10-foot iron fence, and you see them all the time. And I wanted to do something to kill the player if they jumped and touched these things, because actually in game life you can scamper along the top of those things like just like it's a narrow wall, because I guess what's it called, the collision box or whatever, when you see an object in Drum Ed, the physical reality is it's either a sphere, or like a sphere with a hat on it, or then just boxes, like the simple crates, just a box. And basically you can think of that as like a tall, thin box as a fence. So you can actually run along top of these things. And I remember trying to put a property on them to kill the player, because if you landed out there, I mean, obviously, you should, from the roof, you should be impaled and dead. And I also just didn't want the player to get outside of the proper confines of where I want the mission to actually take place. Because if you got on the other side of that fence without completing, the objectives, you could get to the end room. It's an invisible room right out there, and where that red building is in front of you. You could get there, but you'd never end the mission, because you haven't gotten all the you haven't stolen everything that you're supposed to steal before you're supposed to leave. So I basically just wanted to make sure the player got killed if he got himself out of the confines of the mission, because I think there's somehow you can get up on the roof all the way up there, I think, or maybe you can't now, or whatever. I can. Oh crap! Okay, I remember wanting to put a boy, I remember wanting to put a ladder in the shed there where you found the guard thwacker, and part of that they wanted you to have to take a ladder and put it up against the side of this the side of the house so you could make a sneaky entrance into through the second floor, but I couldn't figure out how to get the player to be able to pick up a ladder and and place it somewhere and then climb it. But in the middle of screwing around with Drum-Ed, if you just do weird things, it's amazing what you can do that probably the people who designed the editor would never even thought. But I made a ladder and I stuck it on the ground, and so I made it so you could pick it up, because normally you can't pick up ladders, you just climb them down. But I did something into those sea of fields of commands so you could pick the thing up. And then you could put it back down, but for I couldn't get it to lean up against the building. I just couldn't get it to work. I messed with it for a couple hours. I couldn't get it to work. But one interesting thing I discovered while doing that was if you pick that ladder up and then you put it down again, you could just jump up anywhere in the world. It was like you were attached to a ladder. So for a while I was just like you're just climbing around in space, almost like you could fly. It's like there was a ladder attached to you, and wherever you wanted to go, that ladder would be there, so you could just walk there. And it was the freakiest effect. And I remember posting about it in the Editors Guild, and a couple people tried it, and they were like, "Whoa, man, that's really cool." But I've never seen anybody use it to any effect in a mission. But I think there could be something you could do. Like you found, magical boots that allow you to climb in the air or whatever. So if you made boots that you picked up and you attached whatever that kind of property that I somehow figured out, while trying to get that ladder thing to work, you could do something like that in a mission. But so I don't know, just things you discover when you're just screwing around with Drum-Ed. You can do some amazing things. And sometimes if you just start screwing around and fearless with just pushing the buttons and and putting numbers in fields, strange things can happen. So anyway, so this is the lady of the house in her purple pajamas, and Sir is down here, so he's been cruel and unkind to me, so Gilbert has no problem whacking him on his head.
Nothing.
So he's got a few things. It's also something too. He's got a key. That's the key to the main gate now he got, and some money. So he had two things on his belt. It's a strange thing. I don't think I've ever played another mission where people had two things on their belt before, but for some reason I did it. I think even one of the testers told me that it was weird, or maybe I should change it or whatever. I didn't see anything wrong with it, so I just left it. So there's two things there, obviously, and they're both visible, easy enough to see. So, and the bathroom here, and the rug, and I think there's a ring or something in. Is it over here? Hairbrushes on. Yeah, there we go. Tiny ring. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that tiny little ring. And the bog over there. And so, yeah, I am American, but I watch a lot of BBC America, so I just pick up, I pick up English terms easily. I love Top Gear UK. It's like my favorite show of all time. Well, that and Babylon 5, two of my favorite shows of all time. I just, I find those three idiots larking about just to be immensely entertaining, as of course a lot of other people do too. My wife loves the show as well. So I think that's all for up here. You can tell I was getting a little better, fancy stuff, in a bed, and, here's like a cylinder. I think this is like the first instance of a cylinder in one of my missions. I remember trying to create cylinders before. I didn't know you had to tell a cylinder how many sides it was supposed to have. So every time I'd create one, it wouldn't come out. It would come out like a rectangle, only at a 45-degree angle or something. It was, I don't know. It's kind of hard to describe, but I didn't know you had to do that. So for the longest time, I'm going, how do people use cylinders? I don't, You have to tell Drum-Ed how many sides it's supposed to have. I just, took me a while for my thick head to figure that out. So anyway, we'll stop wandering around here. Go down. Okay, now here is something close to a proper staircase. I said before in Let's Plays, just building stairs is just, was beyond me because, it's just a series of it's a series of brushes, and there's actually a tool in Andromeda to
What the? He's right here!
oh boy, oh well, oh crap. Okay, well, oh yeah. Okay, well, we'll just have a little chase here for a while.
You're in for it now.
No, I'm not. I'm not in for it now. I'll run away from you guys. You'll never catch me. Yeah, so dark enough here. Why aren't they even running out the door? Okay, there we go.
I want a piece of you.
Okay, we'll go hide here in the dark and we'll lean and jack them. I know it's a cheap trick, but don't tell me you've never leaned and jacked somebody before, so. Are they not coming out the door? Really? There we go. You see me? Come on, you see me. Okay, here we go. Get in a dark spot.
Heads are gonna roll now.
And lean and jack. And nick two things off him before he even falls to the ground. That's what happens when you play a video game constantly for 10 years. You get good at doing tiny, stupid stuff like that. Okay, yeah, there is... A lot of people played this mission and missed it. There is a sword you can grab. It's right there. So... But that's it as far as the weapons. You got your Garth Whacker and your sword. And we got some more loot here. And that's it for the loot in this room. Okay, let's just do a little sword fighting, shall we? Yeah. And he's got two things on his belt too. So I guess I was loading up everybody's belts. I guess I'd figured out how to put purses and keys on people. That's another thing too. You just, everything you see in Andromeda, nothing is automatic. You have to, every tiny little detail has to be done. I mean, I guess that kind of goes without saying. It's a computer program, but it's just the amount of detail that goes into these things. I mean, even a simple mission like I make, it's just labor intensive. I mean, it's just so much to do, and there's just no quick way to do it. You just have to sit and just trudge through it. But when you end up making something cool,
what's that?
It's worth it. And actually, I think this texture right here, I think when Vigil shipped it, I think he intended it to be tile, like the marble, the really this stuff. But for some reason, I just thought the regular stone sound was more appropriate for this, so I changed it. I think a lot of you find this as tile in a lot of missions. I think that's how he intended it to be used, but whatever. So pick up a few things to eat. I think there's some more booty in here. See, I was like, little funny things like this, like there's a piece of cheese in the corner and a rat, or a mouse or whatever that is, chewing on it. And I think these are, yeah, those are valuable. And who doesn't like nicking the purple goblets? And those are just, those are just pure goblets. Wait, what had happened? What happens to those? I grab it, now I'm right-clicking it. Okay, I right-click it, it just disappears. Whatever, obviously I've got some kind of... Don't have the right properties assigned to that object, but so what? Most people wouldn't even touch them anyway. And some knives, some cutlery laid out, that kind of stuff. So, yeah, you see like knives like this lined up. You'll see objects like this a lot in fan missions, just neatly arrayed, because you take and you create one, like say that's a wooden spoon. I create one and I place it right there, and there's even a command that says floor me that will push the object to the nearest brush, that's below it, and then you just take. There's a command that's like shift and insert, or just insert. I think you hold shift insert. It's like two keys that you hit, and then you can clone whatever you've done, and it'll create another one. And then you just take the mouse and you just move it ever so slightly to one side or the other. Or if you get really anal, you can type in exactly how far to the the milli-inch or whatever in the field Andromeda, because everything is an X, Y, Z, and there's a coordinate for everything that's in the mission. So you can adjust the numbers in the field to move objects about, or you can just use your mouse and kind of, place them. And that's the way I think most of us do it. But you'll see sometimes things just lined up like so anally because they're so perfectly spaced, and I swear it's like somebody doing, instead of just doing it by hand. So you obviously I took here, just created one by hand, and I just created a clone, and then just drug my mouse a little to the right, place the next one, and you clone that, and you place the next one, and same thing with the knives. But you see stuff that's done like so symmetrically, you'd think it would almost be, even like Carson from Downton Abbey couldn't, set a table that neatly. It's because somebody probably, went in and to the milli-inch or the millimeter, put in the fields exactly, what, where he wanted the thing to be. So if you wanted, the next thing 6 over, and then the next one 6 over from that, and the next one 6 over for that, it wouldn't be 5.9 or 6.1. It would be exactly 6 every time. So, you see things like that. And there's a dartboard down here. I love a Taffer dartboard. You figure, we're down here cooking dinner. Did I not? Yes, I didn't put a hockey down here. So, there should be a line 7 foot 9 1/4 inches away from the board. I think that's standard distance from dartboard, at least in America, and I think in England. And some more goblets down here, and some more wine. And of course, the wine shelf, I think this has been done like a million times. Okay, so I got enough loot. So I got the key and I got the loot. So really all I have to do now is just leave. But there is a key hidden in, right? Is that? Yeah, right there is a key. There's like question mark. What's this key for? You don't know. And it goes to a box upstairs. And this is something I in Unfinished Business coming up, you'll see, and it was the first use of it. These are like tiny little pyramids, or like with 8 sides or 6 sides or whatever. The floor here this is the original level of the floor where I'm standing right here now, and this bit here, obviously you can see it's textured different because it's a different brush. Everything you make in Drawman is a brush, either solid or air. They're just called brushes. So that's an airbrush of a pyramid inverted, so it goes down into the floor, and basically it just allows you to texture the floor slightly differently, and allows you to make a floor uneven. So like down here, this is the wine cellar. It's it's kind of old, or they didn't put much thought into making a great floor here. So you'll see stuff like that, and you'll see this coming up in Unfinished Business. Everywhere the outside walkways are like this, only the brushes aren't quite as deep. So this is like, I don't know what, about a 1 drum unit high. And so if you make it like a 1/4 unit high, you can just make subtle undulations in the terrain, and it just gives the ground a little more character. And then obviously it gives you more brush faces to texture. So I can make that blue texture here, and then that greenish texture there. And so it's just little things like that that allow you to add detail. And but you got to be careful with too much detail, because then the frame rate goes up if the scene gets too complex. But actually, though, with New Dark now, you can put a lot more complexity on the screen before the engine starts to choke. So it's not so much of an issue anymore. But back in the day, if you got more than say 500 or 600 polys on the screen, people would, especially with older computers, it would you'd start getting slowed down. And so I think Looking Glass Studios, when they built the original Thief, I think they tried to keep poly counts to like 250 or under, because you remember that was like, I think people were still with like Pentium 2 machines, I think that was the state of the art then, or whatever. So processing speed was really slow. So even though you could push the engine up to upwards of 1,000 polys before it would crash, you couldn't build anything like that because nobody's computer could run it. But nowadays that's not so much of an issue. Get another drink of water here. So anyway, this is like a little hidey hole for whoever sleeps in the top bunk, and put a little purse there with some money. And I think this is like, again, I try to put an Easter egg, or hi from Sly, and the thing. Yeah, congratulations, you're a fantastic loot hunter, Taffer. So Sly. So again, I always try to put a little signature something in these missions. So, and I think people have maybe that grew up or just played these as I've released them. If you've played a couple and you remember, oh yeah, that's Sly. Yeah, he usually puts something like that in the mission. So I'll know to look for it. So. If people go to look for it, I'd like to put it there, because I know when I go to look for something special and I don't find it, sometimes I get disappointed. So, and there's the toilet and the sink, and I know the toilet is like way modern, but give me a break. It looks better than the 8-sided cylinder with a a hole carved in it. So, and we'll steal some more apples off the thing, and so Oh yeah, I actually got some. Wow, I almost got a hit point back on every one of those bites. I think food in Thief 2, I think you have like a 1 in 4 chance of getting a hit point back if you eat it. I think I even did stuff, little details like that, like there's a drain pipe and cabinet doors open. So I was getting slightly more detail oriented because I was getting faster. So you can add more detail if you get faster building, because you just you see something and you what you want to do, and you've done something like it before or done something so similar, you go, oh, I know exactly what to do now. So after you work together for a while, building becomes second nature. So I think that's really it, I guess. Oh yeah, I got that key with the question mark. There's some loot up here in one of these, in this chest, or whatever you want to call it, cabinet, I guess. The only thing is you can fob the loot right through the cabinet. There's things you can do in Dromed that won't allow you. You do something to the door and you link it to the loot somehow, and it doesn't allow you to pick up the loot until the door's open. So I used to know how to do that. I think I did it in, I think, like the second to last mission. I figured it out. Well, you sit and read tutorials on Dromed enough, you figure things out. I mean, pretty much anything that's ever been done has probably been done, and there's a tutorial somewhere on the Looking Glass site that will tell you how to do it if you just have the gumption and the time to sit and read it all. But I really like this, just the trees and the snow. It's just very calming, and you notice there's no ambient. There's hardly any. I think, well, there's some ambient music inside. Yeah, there's a little bit of ambient music in here, but I didn't want any ambient music out here. I remember thinking that, because all you hear, I'll be quiet for a moment. You can even turn up the sound if I'm too loud, but I'll stop talking. Okay, if you've had your sound turned up, now you can turn it back down because I'm getting ready to start talking louder again. Okay, and I just really liked the way the sky looked, and the snow, and I didn't want anything to interfere with that. I just wanted you to just hear the crunching of the guards walking around when you first came out of your cottage, and just the wind going by. And I can also remember spending a lot of time on the sky, deciding exactly what color I wanted it to be, because I really wanted the mood out here. I just really wanted to set a certain kind of mood, and I think I really achieved it here. I mean, there's not much going on in this mission. It's just, a little house over there, big house there, and, a couple of small outbuildings and that kind of stuff. And a few buildings on the other side of the fence. Those are objects, by the way. You don't build those. You just create it, blam, plop it, right where it is. So it's an easy way to, give your mission a little depth, some character in the distance, because there's no gameplay is going to happen around any of that. So if you get up real close on them, you go, oh yeah, these are all fake, and half the time you can even walk through them. I don't even think they even have any physical substance to the to the camera, to the player. And so I really can't think of much anything else. Yeah, that's about it. I just really liked the way it turned out here. It's very calm and peaceful. Yeah, you could just stand here, just pretend it's a cold night, because I don't know, some people, maybe some people live, you've never experienced what it's like, to be 10 degrees Fahrenheit outside and snow falling and and wind and whatnot. It can be very calming and relaxing to stand in a snowstorm, and especially when you've got just a nice warm house to go back into and that kind of stuff. So those of you who've never experienced real cold or snow, this maybe give you a little bit of a feel as to what it's like to stand on a calm night and and just let the snow fall around you. So that's really what I was going for here. So, and speaking of going, it's time for Gilbert to get out of here. So he opens the gate, and that ends the mission. And so there you go, my third release for a fan mission. You obviously were starting to see that I was starting to get it. Missions are starting to come together. I mean, nothing I did was ever that spectacular compared to what guys like DRK did, Saturnine did, Frauber, they just make these huge, just wonderful creations that just have so much going on, and I just don't have the patience to sit and do all that kind of stuff. I mean, there's so much to do just to make a simple mission. I'd go crazy, and that's why I haven't. That's why I haven't finished my last mission. I've got one on my hard drive. It's pretty much the only thing I've done in Drama Ed that I haven't released, and it's quite a large bit of a map. And to tell you how long ago I started it, it started if you remember the first beauty contest, I started it as an entrance for the beauty contest. I never finished it. Obviously, I never entered that contest, but that's the only thing that I've built, substantially built that didn't turn into a mission to get released to people. So I'm hoping one day to finish it, but as I say, I don't think I've worked on it in like 7 or 8 years, which is a shame because it's really a beautiful map. But it's not populated. There's no objectives or anything. I've got a whole, storyline, figured out. It's supposed to happen over 3 different nights. So it'll be a tiny little map, and then you'll use the big map twice, and things will change, from night to night on the big map. And I've got this great idea, but it's so much work to do, unless I can find somebody to do all the scripted events, because I just don't know how to do that kind of stuff. But maybe if I could do everything but the scripting and find some nice soul to do the scripting for me, because there's some people that really like to do that. Some people hate to build, make the rooms and everything. I love to build the architecture, but all the scripting, the stuff that goes on behind the scenes, it's just, it's one Rube Goldberg thing after another. It's so convoluted, and I just hate doing it. But other people love doing that and hate building. So hopefully I can find somebody maybe someday to do that. So anyway, that's it. My 3rd mission, Servant's Revenge. Thanks for sticking around.